Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Reese number DKB3. This is a set of spring bronze weather stripping. This is a complete set. This is going to give you enough material to do a 3-foot wide by 7-foot tall door, or obviously anything smaller than that. Okay, so this kit is going to be comprised of 7 components. So what are those components? You're going to get all of the weather stripping, which is going to look like this when it arrives. You'll have three pieces that are, you'll have 2 pieces that are 4 foot long. Those are these long ones. You're then going to have 3 pieces that are 3 foot long, roughly. Might be a little long. The 4-foot piece here actually measures 48 1/4. The 3-footers measure, you're right on at 36 inch. So you will most likely want to install the, depending on where the strike location is, you may want to install the 3-foot pieces at the bottom of the 2 of the 3-foot pieces at the bottom of the jamb, depending on where your strike is located, or where your strikes are located. Meaning, you don't want to put the 4-foot piece at the bottom to have to cut it, and then it's a 7-foot door, and now you've got a 3-foot piece at the top, but then a little tiny piece that you need perhaps to fill in where the strike area goes. So measure that out. You'll get 2 4-footers. You may want to put those at the top and the 3-footers at the bottom and dance around the location of the strike. The third 3-foot piece is naturally for the header. Okay, that's 5 of the 7 components. An easy one is going to be the nails that you'll get with the order. Enough there for you to attach all of this weather stripping. I would count them out and make sure how many you are going. You know what? I'll count them right now. My loose guesstimate, there's likely about 45 nails in the package, something in that range. So think about what your center to center is going to be for that. If we were to assume that you were doing a 3-foot by 6'8" door and you had 196 inches, therefore you're going to want to be somewhere in the 5-inch center to center range, maybe 4.5 inch. However, you'll have to calculate the requirements that you'll have for the 7th piece, and that is what would be considered a lock strip. Okay, so now the lock strip is going to be installed where you have a disconnect between the lower piece and the upper piece on the strike jamb, where you can't obviously have the V-cushion run over the strike. And that is what this material is called, by the way, V-cushion. Now let's talk about that lock strip placement. There's a link below this video to a document called Product Brochure where you will be able to review this material. Okay, that document doesn't tell us much at all what would be appropriate for this material, except to say that it's substantially thinner. So what you ought to be able to do is to position it so that you're able to have a continuous seal at least, or at least a seal that, at least a run of weather stripping that doesn't completely lack a seal in that area, and do so with that 19/32 of an inch wide piece. And as an example of what you might be installing that material, obviously grossly shown out of proportion, would be to insert that lock strip material right there. If this is the door swinging this way, this is of course your jamb. I might install it right in there, pulling that fake door bevel out excessively heavy to just allow you to review what that might look like. And is how you're going to install that material. A lot of people really like spring bronze weather stripping because it's very long lasting and quite effective at preventing the intrusion of air coming through, loss of energy. Let's go over some dimensional properties. This is meant to be compressed down when the door closes. This would be towards the exterior of the opening, or the pull side, your edge, so that the door will close. Be easier here. Close and compress this down. Ribbed profile on the back for some structural integrity. Let's go over. They've got the width at 15/16. That would be accurate. They have an uncompressed height of 5/16. I'd say that would be accurate as well. Okay. You'd be able to easily compress that down. You know, if there's a 1/8 of an inch margin between your door and the jamb on each side, this will certainly compress down. And if you've not used doors that have compression weather stripping, you will certainly feel in that last inch or so, inch and a half or so of closing, an increase in pressure, that you feel like you're actually pushing the door and securing it, sealing it even in place. Okay. The thickness of the material is probably 10 thousandths of an inch. Yep. 0.011. 0.011. They call it 0.006. Yeah, that's probably more accurate. I think because I'm attempting to measure it on a cut end, I'm getting... Yeah, 0.006. .07 according to my caliper, which appears to be accurate or properly set. The lock strip piece, they've got that at 19/32 of an inch, so basically just under 5/8. Total width of that 3/16, and I'd say that'd certainly be accurate. You know, we didn't give you the dimensions of the small sides, I'm realizing. Let's do that. 3/8 on the small side of the lock strip. Correct. I like to check the dimensions because this is how we verify that it's accurate. 19/32 over on the small part of the larger of the two, that'd be accurate. And then the thickness of the lock strip. I have no reason to believe that it's any thinner. Or thicker, for that matter. Yeah, it'll be the same material thickness. 0.006. Now, people install this material, and it's... the homes I grew up in, Chicago and then the northwest suburbs of Chicago, were full of these. Doors built in the early 1960s. And that material was working in 40 years later like it was when it was installed. And the reason is because it's bronze. It's durable. It's a metal type material that's nailed in place, that doesn't come in contact with anyone, so there's really not any opportunity for there to be any damage. And really the only time the material has to be replaced is what I have seen over years and years of use. The material will fatigue eventually, and the holes where the nails pierce through will ovalize, and it's really because of a misfitting door. The door has not been maintained so that it fits properly in the jamb, because doors do sag. It's a hardware failure, really. Hinges wear out. They allow a lot less tight margin between the knuckles of the hinge together. Those wear out. They open up. The door creeps down. It's really now just dragging and pulling on the weather stripping excessively, and eventually it will fatigue and fail. The pieces will come loose as a result, or people will have to try to re-nail it back in place. And those attempts to repair are certainly warranted in those installations where it's failing, but be sure, bring the door back up to proper operation. Repair, replace any hardware that's simply worn out. The other times that you'll see it replaced is when someone pulls the door off the hinges because it's moving day. Well, the couch goes through and it catches part of it and just tears it off. That I've been told plenty of times. But otherwise, you'll use this material maybe because you have it in your mind that it is old worldly, meaning this is how it was done not only 4 or 5 decades ago, but over 100 years ago. You might be in a position where you're doing historical work. We supplied material to a new dorm building for a college in the SEC, where the college dorm building built in 2015 needed to match the one built in 1885. Okay, so spring bronze was an option for that. V cushion was an option for that. Spring bronze is another type of bronze weather stripping that I do not believe Reese offers. They use the term spring bronze to apply to this material. We would call this a V cushion. Spring bronze is a material that's almost flat but has a little giddy up in it so that it has some spring to it. And it's nailed down in the flat orientation, but still, because of that spring, projects off the face. A similar type of material, but V cushion is probably more ubiquitous when it comes to the entire country of installations compared to just what we would call spring bronze. If you would like to look at that, reach out to us. We'll help you with spring bronze, what we call spring bronze as well. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Reese products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. What I'm demonstrating here is the fact that these brass-plated nails are made of steel. You want that. That'll save you from probably having to pre-drill 50 holes. Length on that nail, maybe 7/8 of an inch. Incredibly thin. What we'd call a wafer head, a wider, flatter head nail. It has a diameter of 0.043. Overall length 0.783. 0.783 overall length. Overall width of the head 0.103. 0.103 overall width of that flat head. Now finally, if you have any questions, looking down at these nails, I realized I forgot to measure them. If you have any questions on anything Reese, let us know. I'm a large fan of Reese. I always look for ways to promote their product and sell more of it because several reasons. Excellent customer service. Technical support, customer service. It's phenomenal. Industry-leading ship times. No one does it faster, repeatedly all the time than Reese. That's the bottom line. The quality of their product is literally second to none in my opinion. They do have a competitor in terms of quality in my mind, but when you balance the other facets of incredibly prompt shipping, incredibly great customer service, it tips you towards Reese all the time. If you've not heard of them, that's not unusual. You probably haven't heard of the other half of the other 7 weather stripping manufacturers we sell as well. That doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. I would think that Reese would be accurately called as more of a regional player in the upper Midwest of weather stripping. But that link to their catalog, if you have at least a marginally routine need for weather stripping, familiarize yourself with their catalog. When someone turns to Reese, I don't get a call that says, yeah, I didn't like it. In fact, I've never had that phone call. Finally, any questions on this or any other Reese product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.